Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Irish Wrestling Podcast. I'm happy to be joined this week by none other than El Capitan himself, the man with the plan, the ICW champion, the one and only Leyton Buzzard. Leyton, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me, and great introduction as well.
There's a lot there, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more in years to come to be added to that name. But to start off, I know that you've got a great wrestling history. But I just saw your news that you announced today regarding the Mythological Theatre. I was just very intrigued when you put that tweet up, so I just wanted to find out what exactly that is. I know you have a history when you were younger of some theatre and some acting and musicals. So, what exactly is this Mythological Theatre that you've been involved in?
Yeah. So obviously, that was what I started off in the entertainment business. Was theatre from the age of like 8 until 18. I did theatre, film, TV, everything. But I've not acted professionally since I left sort of Bristol to move to Glasgow. Start wrestling. So that was maybe 7 years ago. And this play called Mythological Ragnarok, and it's about Norse gods. But the producer, the creator of the show, the guy that wrote the show, he's a former pro wrestler.
Right.
So he's also a stuntman, and he had this idea to like make a hybrid acting / wrestling show. A friend of mine who was in the show previously, Molly Spartan, she set me up with his contact because she thought I'd be perfect for it because I've got acting background and wrestling background. And then I went down to London last week to meet with the creator of the show and meet the cast, and it just went really well. And then he let me know that if I wanted to, I'd be able to come down and do some of the shows in London in about 2 weeks' time. But so like I said, it's a show about Norse gods, Norse mythology, but it also has big, massive, epic fight scenes, which is all professional wrestling. So you'll probably know some of the guys in the cast, like Charles Crowley.
Oh yeah.
So it's most of the people in the cast are wrestlers with acting background, or vice versa. So, it's quite a specific group of people, but something I'm really, really excited to be a part of.
It sounds amazing. Is this a new thing, or had you done one previously? Is this
So it's been going on about a year and a half now. They really started picking up last year, so they did a full run at Edinburgh Fringe. They've also shows at the Cockpit in London, the same venue Rev Pro do shows at. So they've been doing shows everywhere, but this year it's really taken off. They've got 50 shows booked in already. They've got 50 more penciled in. So this is going to be their biggest year yet. So I'm really excited to join the crew.
Yeah, sounds something like something completely different, but something I really love to sit down and watch and go to the theatre and see it.
Completely different. I'd never heard of anyone doing that. Acting with wrestling, and unless it was like about wrestling, but this is not.
I was watching the trailer, and it looked kind of like the old underground setup they had on Raw with Shane McMahon, like no ring ropes, just that flat. Yeah, I was like, what's this? Like, but it looks cool. Like, hopefully there's no risk of injuries on it. It might be a bit less.
No, we're all professionals. So no more risk of injury than there is in a wrestling match.
Cool. And just to go back to your actual acting career as well, as an 8-year-old starting off, like I know you've worked some things like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and I know you auditioned. You had some auditions for Oliver, is that right? With Andrew Lloyd Webber, was that a TV show you're on?
Yeah, it was a TV show I was on called I'd Do Anything. And it was to find the next Oliver. I didn't get the part of Oliver, but I did still get a part in the show. So I was in the original cast of Oliver in London at Theatre Royal Drury Lane. Did a bunch more shows in London as well. I was in the original cast of Matilda the musical, which is just out. They just made the film at the cinemas. So I was in the very first cast of that. I've done film, TV. I've done motion capture. I've been in video games. I've done a bit of everything.
So, and how does that acting background then prepare you? Obviously you've got that natural ability then for doing promos, and I know you've done some musical interludes, let's say, in ICW with guitars and stuff. It's like, has that helped you obviously in your wrestling career as doing promos?
Yeah, it's honestly helped so much. Like for me personally, like it's a controversial view to some people, but I see it all as theatre. It's different types of theatre, entertainment. I used to do musical theatre, and I'd sing songs and do dances, and now I do physical theatre, and I come out and I fight people, and I play a different character. I think it translates so well, and everyone I know in the business that's had that acting background as well. Yeah, I guess Charles Crowley's one. I'm doing the show, and
Yeah.
you know, they really get it, and I can always tell personally, like seeing an actor do a promo and seeing a wrestler do a promo, like it's two different things, and I that background, but it helps so much, especially right at the start, because you know right at the start most people are sort of nervous to do promos, stuff like that. But I was choking to get out there, like on the stage with a microphone in my hand, because I knew as soon as I had a microphone, you know, I'd be able to talk. So it helps so much, especially early on in my career. I think my talking was what set me apart, because I'd just come into the business, and straight away as soon as I started talking, people to notice. So I think it's really helped me become the wrestler I am today.
Well, it is 50% of the business, isn't it? Obviously, your ability is the main thing. Like, but if you can cut a promo, like people like MJF, who, you know, very rarely wrestles, but he cuts promos every week, like, so you don't need to, you know, risk your body every week once you get that promo down. I know he started off training with people like Joe Hendry. Now he's doing pretty well for himself with Impact. I'm not sure it was Grado. He was around at the time when you started off. Was he around?
Good friends. Both good friends of mine. Great people. Both doing really great things now. Different things, you know. Joe's back at Impact. He's the digital media champion, I believe. Just retained against Moose. And Grado, he's a national star in Scotland, man. He's on like 3 different shows for BBC, and you know everyone knows him. It's funny because you know when you say in Scotland, when you say you're a wrestler, people always say, "Oh, do you know that Grado?" That's the first thing they say when you tell people in Scotland. But both great guys. He also runs his own shows now, Grado.
Okay.
At this big theatre in Glasgow called the Pavilion Theatre, and I've done the last maybe 4 or 5 of them. And it packs out like 1,500 people in a theatre. It's crazy. It's one of my favourite shows to do.
That's something I would love to do, is come over to Scotland and actually go see shows. We've done Progress in Cardiff whenever they were there for Clash, like, so Scotland, like ICW shows. I'd love to go and see a few of those shows outside of, you know, leave Ireland for a few shows.
You should make the trip sometime.
Yeah, definitely love to. Just obviously, speaking of ICW in Scotland, now you moved up. Are you living in Scotland now? Have you moved full time up there, or are you?
Yeah, I moved from Scotland 7 years ago to train at ICW's training school. You know, so that's how I first got into wrestling. I'd never wrestled before I moved up here. I moved to Glasgow to wrestle for ICW. Yeah.
And how does it feel now being the champion? Like, you know, after all that training, it's paid off. Now you're the ICW champion. It must be something magical.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. You know, like I gave up everything back then, and I took a chance. I believed in myself. I took a chance. You know, it could have failed. I moved country. You know, moved from 8 hours away from Bristol to Glasgow. I'd never been here before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just had a feeling it was the right call, and I had a feeling that you know, I was going to succeed. And 11 years later, like you said, I'm the ICW World Champion.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a crazy feeling. You know, sometimes it's hard to actually stop and sort of take it all in, but yeah, it is a really crazy feeling, and really one of the proudest moments of my life was becoming champion, because it really was, you know, 7 years of hard work with a culmination of that moment. So yeah, it's a really cool experience so far.
Yeah, and obviously I know it's just recently announced that the ACW is coming off the network, but it would have been cool getting to see your own matches, you know, defending the title on the network, you know, early on as a champion. I've seen something cool to see that you could just turn on the network and there you are.
Yeah, it would have been cool, but you know, ICW we're not letting us get us down.
Yeah.
ICW On Demand, which was always our streaming service before, is still our streaming service now. So everything's still going to be going up in there. Nothing's changing for.
So people can subscribe to that now, can they? There's an on-demand service. They can go on there now. We'll leave the
$4.99.
We'll leave the link in the description for people if you want to go back and see all the ACW stuff, and you want to watch Joe, you want to watch, you know, all the old ACW matches, and you can watch yourself. You know,
the whole library.
Yeah, there's a massive backlog.
All the stuff from the WWE network as well.
Yeah, everything's getting moved off that. So
yeah. But the way I looked at it, you said, "Oh, it would have been cool to see some defenses." The way I look at it is that my last match that aired on the WWE network was me winning the ICW Championship in the main event of Fear and Loathing. So I feel like if that's the end of it, you know, I can't ask for a better.
That's the way to close it off. So perfect. Okay, so speaking of the ACW champion, I know you're coming over to Ireland for a couple of dates, and you're due to challenge Fabio in Fight Factory, title for the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship. How does that come? I know you were supposed to come before the end of the year last year, and there were some issues with travel logistics. So finally getting this match under your belt. Are you excited for this show?
Yeah, honestly, it's one of the matches I'm looking forward to the most. I was absolutely gutted back in December. It was December 9th. I was sitting in Glasgow airport for like 12 hours.
Oh.
My first flight got cancelled. I booked another one straight away. That one got cancelled as well. And like eventually, then at the end of the night, they just announced they were like, right, no planes are leaving to Dublin today. Every flight's cancelled. And so like that feeling of just not being able to do anything about it was awful. I couldn't even do anything. There wasn't any planes leaving. But I spoke to management straight away. They said the fight's back on. And this one's really special to me because like last year, so the last 6 months of the year were really crazy for me. I wrestled in sort of 10 countries, like all these new places, making debuts for OTT and WXW, winning the ICW Championship. But like before all that happened, Fight Factory was really the first promotion in Europe, like outside the UK, to take a chance on me, like to give me a shot. I wrestled for them back in, I think it was maybe August. I wrestled back for them on my first show, and it was Katie and the team at Fight Factory that really gave me that first shot outside Europe, and that meant so much to me. So now to be able to come back, as ICW champion, wrestle in the main event, title for title, it's a really special match for me, and the fact that I'm playing for the championship in Ireland, the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship, would be cool. And fun fact as well, I've never won a match in Ireland. I'm still
never. I suppose you had Trent and you had Darius as well at the end of last year with OTT.
And Justin Daniels twice.
So
5 of my matches in Ireland, and I've lost all of them. So
this could be
this match somehow. If I can win this match, my first.
This could be historical. It's going to be historical if you do, because he's had it over 1,100 days, and
Yeah, man.
There's very few people who've had have that actual title. Like you go back to Aoife Valkyrie and even Jordan Devlin have held it, but Fabio haven't at that long.
Ireland's a really special place to me. Like the last 6 months of the year, it's come like a second home. Doing Fight Factory and OTT, and like I've got so many friends over there now.
Yeah,
it really is like a second home. So this match is like really important to me, and I'm looking for that first win, and it'll be a pretty cool way to get my first win if I can get it.
I know the fans are they're chomping at the bit to see this match because they were really excited for it. So I'm hoping they're all going to come at it. Unfortunately, we won't be there, but we will be there for RCW the next day in Cork.
Yeah, it's going to deliver, man. I'll tell you that. It's going to deliver.
Yeah. And you're coming to Cork the next day for the RCW show as well. I know you're spoken to Billy. It hasn't been announced who you're facing yet. So we'll leave that.
I'm announced. I've got my RCW debut the next day. And no matches have been announced. We'll see what happens, but hopefully, if I'm still champ, maybe we'll see a defense in Cork as well.
Maybe, hopefully we'll see that. And speaking of OTT as well, you're due to face Big Damo in Wolverhampton. How excited are you for that? I know Damo's got a big history with his training. He obviously trained in Scotland as well.
Must be crazy, man. I'm really excited to do Wolverhampton. I think it's such a cool venue, and I think like a really historical venue in sort of in British indie wrestling. So really looking forward to doing that. Really looking forward to getting back to OTT straight away as well, because my last weekend of the year was with OTT. And I had, I thought 2 of my best matches, and I felt that weekend I won the fans over. I was receiving so much positive stuff online, and it was really overwhelming for me. But I love Ireland so much. That was a really great feeling to have that feeling reciprocated, and to have the fans saying, come back. So we've got it sorted straight away. I'm doing Wolverhampton. It's a new venue, but still the OTT crowd, and I'm wrestling Big Damo, which is crazy.
You're not coming.
What's that?
You're not coming the next day to Dublin, are you, for the next show? It's just
unfortunately not. No, I'm wrestling in Sweden on the Saturday.
Oh,
and then
nice.
Back in ICW on the Sunday. But it's really cool to wrestle Damo because he's actually a former ICW champion as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then last time in Dublin, I wrestled Trent as well. He's a former ICW champion.
Yeah.
So it's a cool string, and obviously, Damo's a fair bit bigger than me, but I'm going to make it work, man. I'm happy to be in there with him. I think he's such a great guy. I think he's such a great wrestler. So yeah, it means a lot to get that one-on-one match with him. You know, it's a big match, it's a big opportunity, and I'm going to make the most of it.
Yeah, and he is literally the nicest guy in wrestling. Like we've spoken to him a few times. He's just such a nice guy. But it's great though, because like obviously we're not going to talk about the pandemic, but last year for everybody, like everybody seemed to have a great year last year in wrestling. Like everybody upped their game, like after the pandemic, and there's so many promotions out there now where you can just every weekend there's always a show on, and you can just keep grinding and grinding, and everybody seems to stood out last year. So this year, 2023, like I know you've done a lot of Europe. Any option of going like maybe to Japan or over to the States or Canada or somewhere like that? If something you're looking into?
Yeah, I'm going to Canada in 2 months.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah. So I'm going to Canada and the US as well. So from March 15th to April 11th, I'm going to Canada. I'm going to be based in Toronto,
nice,
in Ontario for just under a month. But I'm also going to be making my US debut as well. I just finished talking with a company the other day, big company in the USA. So I'm going to be doing that as well. So it's going to be really cool to have a month away, completely different scene, and to get to make my debut in Canada and USA as well. And then Japan's always it's always at the back of my mind. For me personally, that's really from when I started wrestling. That was my goal, was to go to Japan.
Yeah.
To go to Japan to train hard. Like all my favorite wrestlers. All the wrestlers that I want to model myself after, that I grew up loving and idolizing, they all made a name for themselves in Japan first, and they all did that training in Japan. So it's definitely something that I want to do. I'm going to do everything I can to make it there.
Cool. And just to mention, it also happened a few days ago that you may have been calling out someone from Japan recently, Will Ospreay. Is that something that you're pushing for? Is that something that's maybe booked already, or is it just something that you're hoping that you can actually get Rev Pro to start?
It's something I'm pushing for. Will Ospreay put out this promo doing an open challenge to everyone in the UK. I saw the promo, but then a friend of mine messaged me, a good friend of mine. It was him that really gave me the push. He believed in me, and he said you should really send out a promo to this. He was like, you could really get yourself noticed.
Yeah.
I didn't think, I thought, maybe I won't get noticed, but no, my friend, he gave me the confidence. So I did it. I thought, screw it, I'm going to do it. So that day I went, I filmed a promo, I put it together, and I put it out online. I replied to it. And the reaction was great. I got loads of likes, loads of shares. And then I noticed on my Instagram, Will Ospreay liked it. He doesn't follow me on anything, but he liked the Instagram video. So I was like, oh, that's cool. He's seen it, I thought at least he's seen it. And then I didn't know if anything was going to come of it. And then I think 2 days later, I think someone sent me this picture. They were like, go on Twitter and look at this. And I was like, oh, okay. And I went on Twitter, I looked, and it was Will Ospreay, and he just tweeted my name, just Leyton Buzzard. I was like, man, that's crazy. So yeah, I'm going to keep pushing for it. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to hopefully try and make this match happen, because it'll be huge for me. And in my personal opinion, I think he's the best wrestler in the world right now.
For
the last
100%.
So yeah, to be able to get in there with the best in the world, I think there's no better way to prove yourself and elevate yourself as a wrestler than to get in there with the best. So yeah, I'm going to keep pushing for it hard, and I'm going to try and make it happen this year. Leyton Buzzard versus Will Ospreay. It's going to happen.
Definitely, I love it to happen. I don't know, it might be happening. I know he's coming for Rev Pro. He's signed up for a few days for them, so maybe it'll happen there. Maybe it'll happen at OTT. He's been over. He's been at OTT a lot. We're hoping to get him back to Ireland for a couple of shows. So you never know. But even that, would you just if you ended up in Japan with them, like maybe he could end up joining up with United Empire and running with some of the boys over there against some of the Bullet Club. It might be something that you could take off your bucket list.
Hey man, yeah, that'll be pretty cool. I wouldn't say no.
Yeah. Okay, before we let you go, and I know you've got a big year ahead, like you've dropped some, or you're due to drop some new merchandise in the next few weeks or few months.
I will, man. Yeah, I just got the design through today. It's a cool one. It's a El Capitan World Championship tour. It's like a concert style T-shirt. Specifically for my championship reign. I want something to bring something out to sort of commemorate it. So yeah, that's going to be coming out. Keep your eyes peeled. In the next sort of week or so, I'm going to be dropping the pre-order, but I'm really looking forward to that.
Cool. And we'll leave all your socials in the description, and anything comes out, we'll make sure they retweet it out and add it on to the comments and stuff. So, honestly, Leyton, been a pleasure speaking to you. I'm looking forward to seeing you in Cork at ICW. Unfortunately, obviously, I won't be there for the Fight Factor run, but best of luck against Fabio, and you never know, he might make history in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, man. And hopefully I'll still be in one piece on the Saturday, you know?
I hope so. Perfect, Leyton. Thanks very much for your time.
Thanks for having me on,
Have
mate.
a good
Really
day, man.
appreciate it.
Cheers. Thank you.